Welcome back to the Sim Racing Show, your one-stop shop for all of the news in the world of sim racing. And this week I've got 5 new tracks for you in sim racing. So it's quite an exciting week for sim racing. If you want new content that's coming across, probably the biggest sim in the world, a sim that you might have forgotten about, and even a brand new sim that you probably never heard of. So I'm going to start with the biggest sim. That is, for me, iRacing. I think iRacing is a juggernaut right now. And they've got the new 2024 Season 4 update on the way. We're going to get a new car and a new track. So the new track is Caldwell Park. It's a classic UK track, very tight and twisty. Go over the white line, you're going to end up on the grass. And adds to the smorgasbord of great UK tracks we have in iRacing. Snetterton, Donington, Brands, Silverstone, Alton Park, I think is a free track, and now Caldwell Park as well. So it's one of the best ranges of UK tracks we've ever had, probably better than the BTCC games. So the car coming is the BMW M4 GT4 even. I've really enjoyed driving the AMG GT4 recently in iRacing, and there's a little bit of opportunity for you to maybe get some credits back as well. But Caldwell Park coming, great. We've seen so many new trials coming. I was on Circuit de Lebanon the other day in iRacing, really enjoying it. And I think iRacing has sort of, let me know if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's dealt with some of the issues that people often had against iRacing. There is one that remains. Graphics, I think iRacing now has really good graphics, to be honest, if you max it out. VR as well, it's really good in VR. There is a subscription, but I feel like iRacing is starting to really justify the subscription because you just know you're getting brand new content all the time being added to the service. Yes, you need a subscription and you need to buy for the cars and tracks as well. For some people, that's just going to be on principle, not something they want to do. But once you buy into it and you've got a subscription, anyone's watching us on iRacing knows it's a really fun place to be. On credits, iRacing are going to give some credits back to people who bought the older M4 GT4 in the last few months. I don't know whether that's going to mean that if you buy one now, after you watch this, you can also get credits. I don't know. But they're going to give credits back to people who have their old GT4. Moving on to 2 new tracks now in Is It a Sim? You Let Me Know. It's Forza Motorsport. So the tracks are Bathurst, by the way, which is a proper track. And there's a track called Sunset Peninsula, which is like an OG Forza track. Forza Motorsport came out with this big statement a couple of days ago where they basically set up the roadmap for year 2 of Forza Motorsport. And to be very honest with you, there's a lot of stuff in that roadmap that I think should have been included in the game at launch or should be included in a racing game at launch, like the spectate mode. They're going to be adding drifting and stuff like that. But for whatever reason, they launched the game without those features. Now they're adding them. Hopefully there'll be some sort of maybe a price reduction as well to re-energize people back into Forza Motorsport. And I do think Forza Motorsport, whether you think it's a simcade, an arcade game, I think it does have an important role to play in sim racing because as a big first-party game from Microsoft, it has the marketing budget, it has that presence, it has that advertising to get people into sim racing. People may come into Forza Motorsport and end up going into iRacing or Le Mans Ultimate or ACC or whatever. And also, one of the big updates coming is spectator mode, and not just kind of a half-assed spectator mode, although the spectator mode in Forza at the moment is really not designed well. The way you have to change cameras and cars, you'll know if you try to do it. But the way they're going to do it is really about broadcast for esports, I believe. So that lends itself to Forza Motorsport doing very big public esports events like Gran Turismo do with the Gran Turismo World Series. I think is an important thing for sim racing. Fourth new track is coming to a proper sim, but one you might have forgotten about. So right now, WEC is in America doing the Lone Star race in Circuit of the Americas in Texas. And this is a scoop from the guys and girls at Traxon.gg. Thanks so much. They've confirmed that Circuit of the Americas is coming to Le Mans Ultimate in an upcoming DLC. So Le Mans Ultimate, the official game, actually sponsors the WEC. So you watch WEC coverage and they put the game Le Mans Ultimate front and center. How much that is valuable, I don't know, especially in the light of Fanatec going insolvent. Fanatec seems to sponsor every GT race in the world. Like you can log on to the Cyprus GT Challenge and it's sponsored by Fanatec, or like the Baghdad GT Sprint Championship sponsored by Fanatec. So maybe it's not quite as valuable as they thought. And we know that Le Mans Ultimate motorsport games aren't great for money. But anyway, they're adding Circuit of the Americas. On the face of it, it's great. Traxon.gg also think they're going to be adding the Alpine and Isotta Francini hypercars. A little bit awkward because Isotta Francini actually ran out of money in real life and have left the WEC. They didn't manage to make it to Texas. We'll just gloss over that. There is a there is an issue here. I remember I bought Le Mans Ultimate with my own money because I really wanted to play the game and I'm feeling that early access vibe. It is a little bit uncomfortable that they're charging for DLC when I kind of gave my money to the game in early access, because I feel like part of the bargain in early access is you give your money to the developer and in return for that they can get the game up and running, but you kind of expect to kind of see updates to the game not charged extra. But you let me know what you think about it. It's really interesting actually what people think about that. Is it a problem? Is it not a problem? So now we're coming on to, I think the 5th track is actually a whole island. Well, it's not an island, it's a town and island, because it is Ibiza in Tesnar Crown. Now, I know you're saying it's not a sim racing game, but I do think it is a sim car game. It simulates a feeling of buying cars and experiencing cars and sort of a side of car culture I don't think you really get anywhere else. You certainly don't get it in the festival games like, Forza Horizon and the Crew Motor Fest. Maybe Tesla Unlimited Crown is going to scratch that itch that, what car am I going to buy? What do I value in the badge? What features do I want? How am I going to drive it? Anyway, Ibiza's coming, which is going to be big news for people who really enjoy Tesla Unlimited 2. That also had Ibiza as well as Hawaii. But also the developer Kireth has been talking about including motorcycles and houses. Remember, Kireth have pedigree with motorbikes and also rallying. So don't write off Tesla Unlimited Crown. I did spend $100 on the pre-order on PlayStation 5 and I regret it because the beta was not good. No matter how many people say, oh, the beta's not representative, that's what I paid for and that's what I got. So we'll see at launch what happens. Hopefully I can get it on PC and maybe Xbox as well and try and compare for you if you're going to be interested. I think it's a nice companion to sim racing. Sim racing is about chasing, well, for some people, about chasing every 10th. We saw in the race make stuff that I was doing, so my race make video. Sometimes you just want to enjoy cars in a different way as well. By the way, I've got something I need your help with before we get onto some ACC news, which is I'm really trying to get to 100,000 subscribers on my channel before the end of September, before the Sim Racing Expo. And I know that if everyone who watched Sim Racing Show hit that subscribe button, it's completely free, we would get there today. So that's not likely, that's not going to happen. But please, if you're watching this and you like the Sim Racing Show, please for me, hit that subscribe button, because to get to 100,000 subscribers for end of September, we can actually do it. It's about 3,000 subscribers and we've done it before. So thanks so much if you decide to do that. And if you've done it already, I massively appreciate you. Let's get on to ACC. There's been an update. So 2024 GT World Challenge Europe liveries have been added and they made some changes on steering wheels. I'm going to test that out actually after I record this on the Pimax Crystal Light VR headset I've got there. And that's really cool to see. I feel like that is what is cool in sim racing when you got those licensed liveries. It just sort of makes you feel like you're there. I don't think you need to advertise in the real world. Just bring the real world into the game. We've seen it with WEC, just mentioned it with Circuit of the Americas. Also, Automobilista has the IMSA license, which is really cool, AMS2. And ACC obviously has that SRO license with GT cars. Big question here, with AC Evo coming around the corner, is this going to be the last update that we see for ACC? If we do, what a game ACC has been. What has it done for the sim racing ecosystem? Showing us that driving these cars is aggressive, it's raw, it's noisy, it's painful, it's sweaty. These are real beasts, metallic things we're trying to drag around the circuit. I think ACC has made that its own. If you take ACC out of sim racing, I think there's a big hole. So hopefully AC Evo is going to be able to cover that. And I've got a video coming up with AC Evo news, by the way, on the channel, so make sure you don't miss that. And I promised you a sim that you probably haven't heard of. This is Reg Simulation's Piston Motorsport, and it's Argentinian themed sim racing. It's on Steam Early Access, $12.79 in the UK. Made in Unity, and it's all about Argentinian domestic motorsport. It's meant to have advanced physics, it's meant to have dynamic weather, it's meant to have really detailed tracks, and it's meant to work in VR as well. So I'm going to be trying it out. But always want to mention, none of these videos are, well, unless I say if one of these videos is sponsored. I think GT Mega sponsored a few. They're not sponsored. No one's paying for any information in these videos. It's just what I find interesting that I want to tell you about, the stuff that I would want to know about if I was watching a sim racing show. But it's always cool to sort of feature the little guys as well. Think about, we've got iRacing as a giant, but also Piston Motorsports there at the moment. No multiplayer at the moment, 8 different cars and only 4 tracks, but it's coming in at £12.79 price point in early access. Something else that came through, by the way, were viewing figures from that Rentable Esports World Cup or World Series. I mentioned last sim racing show, and I do really worry that Rennsport is not going to break out of this bubble of real hardcore esports into sim racing, because we know there's a difference between sim racing and sim racing esports, and sometimes there's a very big difference, and sometimes what esports players want is very different to what sim racers want, and we've seen that particularly in EA F1 24. So let's see what Rennsport do. They've got all the Saudi money, it seems, but at some point they might need to try and go into that space where they're really speaking to sim racers, not just esports drivers. And it'd be interesting because I did think the beta on PC is actually quite accessible, but yeah, you got to buy your. It's not NFTs, and they're definitely not NFTs. They're definitely NFCs or evens or something. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the Sim Race show this week. Please subscribe if you want to see more and help me out get to 100k. And I'll see you next time.